Okay. Greetings from Canada. I'm John Novak. 14 months ago, I had the pleasure of coming to Northern Ireland to begin your Welcoming Schools Conference project. I'm very, very happy to be here, and I will share with you some ideas of invitational education and creating welcoming schools, but I'm also going to bring a real live Canadian principal to tell you how he's got involved with the idea and the things that he's doing. So let me introduce to you Mr. Brendan Browne, a principal from Canada. Here's Brendan.
Hi, John.
Hello, Brendan.
Hi. Come. Hi, everyone. So happy to have the opportunity to talk with you. Hope you're having a great conference, and love to chat with you about the idea of welcoming schools and how you go about maybe doing that in Northern Ireland by giving you our perspective here from Canada. Just some of the things that we've done here in Canada that have led to really creative and welcoming schools, and maybe if you get something from it, then that's kind of our hope today. So hopefully that it's a rich conversation.
So what do you do in terms of the 5 Ps we talk about?
Right, well, the 5 Ps we talk about people, places, programs, policies, and processes. And we like to think about that as a hand and the people being the thumb, because that's really kind of what holds it all together. With people, as we all know as principals, there's not much we can accomplish unless we have, our team on board, we have good people. So, as you're thinking about creating welcoming schools, and I know some of you have been at this for over a year now, and it's exciting to know that there's some new schools on board as well, you realize that as much as you commit to doing creating a welcoming school, you're only as good as your team. So how do you get people in the team involved? My first suggestion would be kind of getting rid of that notion of I'm really great with faces, but I don't remember people's names. I think that remembering people's names is a great place to start, and it's a good thing to commit to, because you're not only understanding who people are, but it's a really strong message that you're sending that you're important enough to remember their names. I was a principal for 5 years at an elementary school. That's 4-year-olds to 13-year-olds. And at the end of 5 years, as I transitioned out, the thing that came out a lot was, we can't believe that he actually remembered our names from the first week, and it really sent a strong message. So how do you do that? A strategy I might suggest, something that I employed right from the beginning, was I set up meetings with all of my staff members, secretaries, custodians, teachers, educational assistants, parents, especially the parents on council, and I had sit-down one-on-one meetings with them, and I chatted about them. I wanted to find out, who are you? What do you do here at the school? What are your hopes for the school for the future? What do you want us to continue? What would you like to see us improve on? And also, what do you leave every morning? What do you come home to every evening? What are your passions? What are the things that you're interested in? And what I found over the course of, as you can imagine, a long time to sit down with everybody, was I found out so much about the different talents and the passions of the people in the school. I found out what they wanted to happen and what they were perhaps capable of contributing, and it made it easier to welcome more of that contribution into the school. So I found out those different ways in which we could involve different people in the school. The other thing, though, that is, it sent a really strong message to everybody in terms of, I can't believe he's spending that much time talking to people, finding out about them, and that was a really strong message that went out to the community. So it's something that I found that really worked really well. The more I got to know about people, I think the more we could work together to bring us together toward creating a welcoming school. So that was maybe a little tip for P's, for people.
Yeah, there's also, what do you do with places? That's like the first thing that people see.
Yeah, places is really, in a way, with the people being the thumb, I think that places is actually a great place to start, because it's where you can start without even having to work with anybody yet. I mean, my meetings with people took a few months. But from a places perspective, the first thing that I did when I came to the school as a brand new principal in August was I got rid of the principal's reserved parking sign. There was a parking sign that was just special parking place for the principal, and I said, I don't need that. I want to create more spaces in front of the school to welcome people into the school. So I got rid of that sign. I invited staff to park with me at the back so we'd have more welcoming spaces at the front of the school, and they did. Staff got on board and said, this is a great idea. The thing is, parents noticed it immediately. It really sent a strong message to the community that about how we're welcoming people into the school and creating and valuing them by simply having a parking space for them. Another thing, though, with places that I found I had influence over in the first moment was the creation of my office. When I walked into my office, there was a big desk in the middle of the room, and the principal sat on the other side of the desk. And in a way, that's a power structure. I wanted to create an inviting room, a welcoming room that people would come into, that there wouldn't be a power structure. There wouldn't be you sit on this side of the desk and I sit on this side. So something that I simply did is I got rid of one of the desks and I pushed the other one up against the wall, so that when I'm working at my desk and somebody comes in, I can turn and my body is open and I'm talking to them. I moved some cabinets that were out of the office and put a circular table in so we could have sit-down meetings. I moved all of the schedules and phone numbers off of my bulletin board and made that an area just to put student work up on, so that when you came into my office you could see what the priorities of the school are, myself as a lead learner in the school. I put art up in the room that was important, my daughter's work, family, all the things that are important to me. It really does send a message. People notice that immediately as well, and it really just goes to show that details matter. I mean, when you're thoughtful about something as simple as the way that you set up your office, how can it be more welcoming? It really sends a strong message to the community.
Okay, what about programs? What are you doing in that?
We got involved with the program right away at the beginning of my 5 years as the principal, and we really wanted to connect our school with the wider community, the wider world. So we got involved with a place called Bethany Kids Hospital. It's in Kijabi, Kenya, about an hour outside of Nairobi, and we invited students to participate during Lent in serving and sacrificing in the local community in whatever way they wanted to, in order to raise money for work we were doing in Kenya. So the work that the kids took on, they hot chocolate sales, sold all their toys, I had kids donating birthday money, just different ways in which they could act locally to think globally. And what I did as the leader to really connect our schools and develop that relationship, and to really have our children see outside of the walls of our community into the wider world, was I went to Kenya on a couple of occasions, just to connect the work that was happening with the doctors and nurses in Kenya with the work that our kids were doing here, and more importantly to connect the work that our kids were doing here with the children that were being served by the schools in Africa. So it was really a way to open up our community to the wider world and to welcome the wider world into our community.
How about policies?
Policies, kind of even going back to the way that I set up my office, one of my first policies I wanted to change at the school was I wanted to change the image of the central office in the school of being one that is disciplined. So my last name is Brown, so you would meet people and say, oh, you don't want to go to Mr. Brown's office. And I really wanted to change that policy entirely so that kids were coming down to the school for good reasons. So I put a policy in place in that I wanted to see students in my office when they've done great work, when they have done a project that they're really proud of, when they've done done really well on a test, caught doing something wonderful in the hallways, something that they're proud of, so they're recognized in a way that is a connection between us. And they'll come into my office and they'll sit down at my chair and they'll read me the story that they've worked on, or I'll put their work up onto my bulletin board, and as the years went on, the bulletin board became this symbol of all of the great things that had happened in the school. So that policy of having students come into the office for good reasons really welcomed more involvement in the school in an academic and a way that was promoting of the behavior that we wanted to promote. And the other thing, policy is just, we talked about an open door policy. I mean, having that in a very real way, with your door being open, with the way my office is set up so that when people come to my door, I am open to them, that policy really sent a strong message in that parents and staff immediately felt that they could come and see me, they could come and make that connection. And if the door was closed, it was closed for a very good reason, and it wasn't very often that was the case, but really establishing policies in the school that are welcoming, and that starts with the office, it starts with what you have control over, and it really does end up going out throughout the whole school.
And how about processes, the last P?
Sure. There was one that I was really proud of. When I first came to the school, part of that process of getting to know staff and students and parents in that relationship building, that people thing that I was talking about at the beginning, was the process of finding out that the staff wanted to move in a different direction, the school wanted to move in a different direction. Something we talked about together was, let's create a symbol for the school, a crest. And so we decided to take that on. So the process that involved was we invited all the students in the school to submit their ideas for a new crest. We wanted to invite and welcome all of the contributions of all the students in the school. So we had 400 students I think I got about 340, 350 submissions. So students that were 4 years old and students that were 13, 14 years old submitted on a standard piece of paper what their ideas were for the new crest. So then it was overwhelming, and what we did was we mounted them all on little pieces of paper and put the student's name and class. We put them up throughout the whole school, 350 submissions for our new school crest throughout the whole school, so that everyone could see all the contributions to the school. We ended up narrowing it down to 3. We got those 3 ideas, and we made it into our new school crest. And I took those original 3 submissions and I put them in a frame along with the amount of the new school crest, because they all came together to make our one. And I explained the process, that in 2007 we invited everyone to participate in this process. This is the result, and this is kind of a symbol of the way that our school welcomes contribution of all to the creation of a welcoming school. So that process really, right from the outset, sent the message that we are all valuable, that we've all got something to say, and if you participate in the life of the school, you'll be recognized, your participation will be valued, and it really set us up well moving forward as all of our processes became ones that were inviting and ones that were welcoming. So these ideas that I'm just quickly sharing in the few minutes we have are not meant to be prescriptive in any way, but perhaps just a perspective of some of the things that we did here in Canada. Hopefully some of the things would resonate with you in Northern Ireland. Love to get over and meet you sometimes and talk about welcoming schools, but I'm just really delighted to have the chance to speak with you today, and I look forward to talking with you in the future.
Thank you, Brendan.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Many, many good things happening on this idea of welcoming schools. Brendan and I, at the end of this week, are on our way to Hong Kong for the annual Invitational Education Conference. You'll see schools that have won Inviting School Awards from China, other places within the world. We're also going to be going to the Invitational Education Conference in 2013, which will be in Orlando, Florida. We welcome you to that. 2014, Nashville, Tennessee. Orlando is the home of Disney World. Nashville is the home of the Grand Ole Opry. So there's going to be some things to do. If you want to check a website on inviting schools, invitationaleducation.net. You can see things there. But let me tell you, I still tell people all over the world about my experience in Northern Ireland. I came on Arthur's Day. What a nice celebration. Went to the Crown Tavern and celebrated in the proper way, and I don't even like beer. It was a wonderful occasion. Thank you very much. Have a great conference. Continue your project. May good things happen. Thank you.